Hey everyone, and welcome to the newest episode here on A Plus Productions of A Plus Wrestling, and we're going to be talking all things WrestleMania. It is only the biggest wrestling week of the calendar year, and that just so happens to fall when WrestleMania happens. We are your hosts, I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour, and welcome everyone to a sold-out Caesar's Palace parking lot. I don't know what's the best WrestleMania location. It is the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the Immortals, and by God, we're gonna preview it. I'm excited. It should be a fun weekend.
Should be a very fun weekend. And also joining us this week on the round table, the panel, it is our friend Yorke. Yorke, how's it going?
It's going good. I can't beat that intro. I was going to say the exact same words that Matt said, and he took your words right out of my mouth.
That son of a bitch.
I'll do that. I'll get you.
Fucking Matt. Canadians fans, he's still celebrating the Stanley Cup win from last night.
Oh, tabernacle in the back. Yeah, we made it a whole meal of food, Boris. Really stretched it out to the end. But yes, go Habs, go, and it shall be a fun 4 games and out in the playoffs.
I will say this about the Habs, right? It is amazing that, they're pulling what St. Louis did a few years ago, right? Where in December, everyone thought that they were out, but then they were able to come in, and that's exactly what the Habs did. Congrats on them. Like, all joking aside, I would hate to face them. I would hate to face Ottawa, and I would hate to face the Leafs right now, because those 3 teams, as we were saying right before we started recording, are effing hot. This is going to be a very interesting Stanley Cup playoffs, but that conversation, my friends, is for another show here on A Plus Productions. Typically, it's for BAM. This week, we're going to be focusing all on wrestling because all eyes are on Las Vegas. Vegas is the place. Everyone, if you are part of the wrestling business, chances are you are in Las Vegas doing something, reporting something, covering something, and here we are from various places around the world chatting WWE and WrestleMania. But gents, before we get into our preview of NXT Stand And Deliver, WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2, let's just talk about this, right? Like, it's a huge freaking week. There's so much to watch. There's so much to enjoy. And it's literally absolutely impossible to watch everything that is happening in regards to pro wrestling this weekend. If you're on Fight TV, so many great shows are up. Even tonight, we have TNA Unbreakable. We have TNA regular TV. So much is happening. It's great. Bloodsport's happened. Crazy stuff is happening. Matt, what are you looking forward to this weekend during WrestleMania weekend?
Well, you mentioned Bloodsport. Card for Bloodsport's always interesting, and I do love those shows. You know what I actually am excited for, and I don't feel like we give it enough love as wrestling fans, is the Hall of Fame. There's probably not going to be the explosive speech like Paul Heyman's last year, which was an all-time, possibly the greatest Hall of Fame speech yet, other than Scott Hall. But yeah, the Hall of Fame is always a treat, always a pleasure. That's going to be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Same here, actually. That should be good, especially Triple H, right? Like, the whole Triple H thing about him not wanting to go into the Hall of Fame now that he runs creative, right? There's something to be said about that. But clearly, the company, Nick Khan, and the company as a whole wanted to give him his flowers because I don't think that he gets appreciated for his time as a wrestler as much as he should because of the sudden disappearance he had, because of the heart issues, because of him going into creative and all of that, right? So it's good to see him get those flowers. Yorke, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
WrestleMania. I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't like that people are saying it's a bad build. I don't think it has. Some matches, maybe, but for WrestleMania as a whole, I think it's been a decent build.
Yeah,
Plus blood spot. I do like a blood. I do like a good blood spot though.
Bloodsport's always fun. They always put on great shows, and it's like the ultimate forbidden door show, right? We have wrestlers from TJP, we got wrestlers from WWE, we got TNA wrestlers, we got wrestlers from everywhere at this Bloodsport event, including people like Natalia. Who would have ever thought you see Natalia on a Bloodsport show? But that's what you got earlier today, and yeah, man, it's really, really, really cool to see all that. That's actually the show that I'm looking forward to the most. GCW's got some shows, Effie's Spring Break, or Joey Janela's Spring Break, and Effie's stuff. All of that is always fun. Not everything is for me, but you know what? It is what it is. It is entertainment. And like I say, if you don't like it, you can just flip the channel. And that's what I do, my friends. That is what I do. Exactly, Matt. And just like Yorke said, I'm really looking forward to WrestleMania itself. Some programming notes. We are going to be having review shows for every show that we are previewing today, including NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania Night 1, and WrestleMania Night 2. And after Night 2, we're going to be talking about kind of wrapping up the weekend as a whole and putting a nice little ribbon on the entire weekend. But yeah, man. And also, again, I know I've been talking about this for the past few weeks, but I do want to mention this, that you might be seeing some changes to the way that A Plus Productions does stuff in terms of our feeds, really taking a look at the numbers and kind of thinking the best way to do this, to make this the easiest for you, our awesome listeners, to get the shows that you want, but it is a maintenance hell sometimes, as I've learned over the past few weeks, and the reality is I just don't have the time to maintain so many feeds and so many technical things and blah 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 blah. No one cares about that stuff, but we're going to be talking about that internally a little bit, and you'll see some changes, and everything honestly is for the good, for the listeners, which we really do appreciate. aplusproductions.com is the best place to find us and be a part of the conversation this weekend, because I know that there's going to be tons of chatter, tons of laughs, tons of lulls, some anger, I'm sure, at some points over the weekend. And the best place to join the conversation is by going to facebook.com and searching for A Plus Productions. All right, gents, we've talked about what we're looking forward to this weekend. There's something that I want to talk about that was inspired by something that Matt kind of jokingly put up, non-jokingly put up, but it was bold predictions for this weekend. It is WrestleMania. It is kind of like WWE's season finale. So let's talk about some bold predictions that you think are going to happen this weekend. And it doesn't not need to necessarily be just for WrestleMania. This could be any show, but I'm sure most of them will be WrestleMania-centric. So, Matt, I'm going to let you kick it off because you have a very bold prediction circa TNA 2008. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, dude. So, there is talk that Mariah May is WWE bound. The great Mariah May, breakout star, arguably, of the past couple of years. There's talk that she's going to WWE, but the word on the street is, chiefly from Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer, who have said this on record, that they believe her contract does not end until the summer. We don't know if that's accurate. Contract details in wrestling are always kind of spotty and weird. And, those guys have, who I like a lot, Dave and Brian do great work, but they've been wrong about that kind of stuff before. So even if it is the case that Mariah May cannot officially appear on a WWE show, I am going on record and saying I think they show Mariah May in the camera, in the front row, perhaps, but in the audience of WrestleMania. I think Mariah May will be on WWE TV this weekend, perhaps in the way that Robbie Highlander was in TNA once upon a time in the audience. But they're showing Mariah May. She's going to be there for sure. I'm positive she'll be backstage. I think they're going to put her on camera. I'm hoping her contract has expired and she can debut at WrestleMania, perhaps even stand and deliver. But yeah, that's my big hot take. Mariah May is showing up on WWE TV, and I'll cop out and say in the audience.
Look, the reality is that if you believe the dirt sheets have been reporting all week about Mariah May's future, and some of them are even suggesting to the fact that she has already told AEW, that she isn't going to resign and was looking for a release of sorts. So, Matt, you might be right. It's at this point with the way that the world of wrestling is, you just never know what is going to happen. Let's just remember that faithful January of 2000 when the Radicals randomly showed up on the front row of Monday Night Raw, right?
Absolutely.
When the three Radicals.
The three Radicals and name redacted showed up. Yes.
The three Radicals and a mop.
yes, exactly. The fourth Radical, Moppy, legendary wrestler.
Yep. All right. Yorkie, do you have any bold predictions for this weekend?
I think, is it bold if it's already been predicted?
No, it's still a bold prediction. It's something that you feel in your heart of hearts that is going to happen, or as we like to say here at A Plus Productions, in your gut of guts.
Well, I think we'll see the return of Aleister Black.
Yeah, that's mine. I think either Rusev or Aleister Black are going to come the same way that Cody did against Randy Orton. I think that's what's going to happen. Yorkie has something important to say. He's waving his hands, and I'm going to keep talking just to piss him off. Go ahead.
What if it's both?
Yeah. That would be brilliant, honestly. A lot of people are already talking about both Aleister Black and Rusev showing up very soon. There's a lot of speculation that the vignettes that we're seeing on SmackDown are for Aleister Black, most likely. That is supposed to happen after WrestleMania, but why not at WrestleMania? Matt, what do you think about that?
I think that's an interesting idea. You have 2 nights of WrestleMania. You can do 2 big surprises, but they also like the Raw after WrestleMania and the SmackDown after WrestleMania to have some impact as well. So that's tough. Speaking of impact, something that I've heard floated out there, which I think would get the crowd going and would get the internet talking, is that Randy Orton does have a match on WrestleMania, and it's against the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Hendry, getting a WrestleMania payday. What do you guys think about that?
Here's my issue with this. I'm gonna stay consistent with how I bitch about wrestling sometimes. Gentlemen, what was I bitching about the past 20, I guess, what is it now, 22 hours? Josh Alexander's debut to AEW. It's going to be very hard for Rusev, Aleister Black, or Joe Hendry to debut or re-debut and not get the W over Randy Orton, right?
Would Randy be willing?
That's the thing. Especially, I think he would be more willing against Aleister Black or Rusev, but much less willing against not only just some random guy from another company, but the champion of another company, right? Like there's that mental game, right? The mental Jenga that these guys play. So I would love to see that, Matt, but that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Here's another idea. I've heard it rumbling on social media. Jeff Hardy. I don't want to see it myself, but I can see Jeff jobbing, and it wouldn't hurt him whatsoever.
Exactly. Yep. Right? The Hardy's
I'll be honest. I wouldn't want to see Rusev lose on his return, and I wouldn't want to see Aleister Black lose on his return. Jeff, I couldn't give 2 fucks about.
No, I think you're right there. Like Rusev and or Black, if they faced Randy Orton, they would probably win. I don't know if Joe Hendry would, but wouldn't it be interesting if Randy Orton won the TNA title? Wouldn't that be something?
I can see Cena winning the TNA title before Orton, but here's the thing, Matt. I don't see Orton, like it's not out of belief in my world that either of those could happen, to be honest.
But if Randy Orton won, would it make him a 13-time champion?
I don't know. I like, actually, not to be rude, but in my eyes, no. Like, I don't think the TNA title, just like I don't think the ROH title is a true world championship. But if they were to do that change, I'm sure they would count it, which would mean that Jeff Jarrett is an X-time world champion in WWE's eyes and all this and all that, right? Even Raven would be a former world champion in WWE's eyes. So I don't know if they're going to cross that bridge.
Well, they mentioned people being former world champions, aren't they?
Yeah.
They
do call it a world champion or a world championship. So, but would they recognize it in that sense? That's a very interesting question. I guess it depends what side of the bed Triple H wakes up on that day.
Yeah. But also, if Rusev were to return, with the working partnership they've got with TNA, would they have, what's his name, Aiden English, come back as Rusev's...
Aiden English, yeah.
It's Rusev Day.
That's an interesting one. I personally don't see that one happening. I don't know why. I just I don't see that one happening.
You can just imagine the pop.
Oh,
when he just comes, if he comes out on the stage, and he just goes, and everyone's like, yeah, Rusev. So,
with the TNA crossover they have now, it's definitely possible. That's what's so fun about WrestleMania and this new TNA partnership is there are all kinds of permutations and random things that could happen. But yeah, if it's going to be anyone, it'll probably be Aleister Black, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a very safe bet. All right, gentlemen, let us turn the page and let us start talking about previews. We're going to go in order of the shows as they appear on the weekend, and this Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, we are having our NXT Stand and Deliver 2025 show. 7 matches. Only one of the 7 matches is a one-on-one. Everything else is a multi-person match. This is a case of let's get everyone on the roster, everyone who's contributed and done something,
as they should.
The card. As they should.
Yeah, it's payday for them. It'll be crap if you've been working out all year and then on the biggest show of the year and you don't get a spot. You'd be like, what's all my work for?
Yep. Exactly.
I don't get wrestling fans who don't like that concept. Like so many wrestling fans, I think deep down actually don't like wrestling or wrestlers. I think that's such a silly thing to complain about.
Honestly, I think a lot of wrestling fans want to sound smart. Look, we talk on a podcast. Obviously, we do too. But I really think that wrestling fans want to have the most brilliant takes, and a lot of them, they still transcribe to the old school booking methods, right? Like, this isn't fucking 1960 NWA anymore. This isn't WW or whatever, World Class Championship Wrestling. Like, this is now a new form of entertainment that we have here. So yes, we're gonna get elements of those old school booking, things, but it's the new school, guys. It's the new school. To borrow a phrase from Vince McMahon in early 90s, it's the new fucking generation.
I don't think Vince said fucking, but I'm right there with you.
I'm sure he did.
Just quietly.
Yeah.
It's the new generation.
Exactly. All right. So NXT Stand and Deliver 2025. Let's go through the matches, talk about them real quick. We have the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Elimination match to determine the number 1 contenders for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We have Metaphors, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson versus Fatal Influences, Fallon Henley and JC Jane versus Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan versus Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Yorkie, who do you think is going to take this match?
This is just a showcase of, hey, we've been on TNA. We've all fought the women's champion and lost, apart from Roxanne. She lost as well. I'm going to pick Gigi and Tatum because they're my favorite tag team out of that bunch.
All right. Matt?
I think they already have a nice thing going with Bayley and Roxanne. I'm disappointed that we're not getting that one-on-one on WrestleMania, but I do understand that there's a whole lot of time to get to that one. But yeah, I think that Roxanne and Cora are going to win this match, and then later on, Bayley and Lyra will take the titles.
That's literally what I was about to say. I was going to say that to continue the Roxanne Bayley program that we started teasing earlier this year. Just remember that they did have a match, and Roxanne Perez won. People need to remember that. Like, they did have a match, And Roxanne Perez did win on NXT TV.
I'm just going to say that I think you're both wrong.
Yeah, well,
Fair enough.
Purely because I think something else is going to happen. I'll tell you about that when we get to WrestleMania. So.
All right. So that is that match. The next match is a ladder match for the vacant NXT Women's North American Championship. We have Zarya versus Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame versus Lola Vice versus Thea Hall. Number one, Sol Ruka is going to be the MVP of this match. I'm calling that right fucking now. And I think that she is going to be the new North American champion. Matt.
I was right up, until a couple days ago, I was thinking it had to be Sol Ruka, but then she won the WWE Speed title, and they're making
canon.
A big deal of.
That's not canon.
I know
that's
it's. I know it's like kind of off to the side, and like you said, not canon. But I do think that that's going to be like the cookie they give Sol Ruka. You know who needs a title and needs a big win and needs a little bit more of a push is Lola Vice. She's long overdue. She's lost a lot of big matches, despite the fact that she's a really good wrestler and quite a good act. So I think Lola Vice will win this match, and they placated Sol a little bit by giving her that Speed title. That, like you said, Boris, is kind of on the periphery of WWE. It doesn't mean that she can't win this title for sure, but I am going to say Lola Vice in this match.
I'm going to go off kilter, and I'm going to say Tia Hale's going to win.
You know what? The way she was presented this past week on NXT TV, they made a huge deal of her return since the whole Chase U closing down thing, and she looked impressive. Like, this repackaged Tia Hale is really cool. The little psycho bitch that she is. I'm really liking it.
Yes.
Classic Boris, psycho blonde.
Fact.
You watch, it'll be someone out. It'll be Zarya that'll win. It'll be Zarya that wins.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. Here's the thing about this match. Between Zarya, Kalani Jordan, she's already won it, but that's fine. Sol Ruka, Izzy Dame, Lola Vice, and Tia Hale. There's no bad real choice out of those people.
Yeah, there is. Izzy Dame. You didn't mean to.
Fair. I'll grant you that one.
I'll give you that one. I'll edit this part out so I can still sound smart. All right, the next match. Hey, I'm joking. A fatal four-way match for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia versus Jordan Grace versus Jada Parker. Matt?
Well, we all know who Matt's going to pick.
I don't think we do. I think that this match exists to get the belt off Stephanie Vaquer without having her take a loss. I think poor Jada Parker, who I love, is in there to just take the L. Julia's already had the belt. She and Stephanie will be up on the main roster sooner than later. I think Jordan Grace pins Jada Parker to win the NXT Women's Championship. That is my prediction.
I was wrong.
Go ahead, Yorkie.
I know Matt loves Jada. I thought he was like, yes, it's her time. She's going to win. The other three can go up to the main roster. All right. I think Stephanie I think Stephanie retains. There's been a lot of talk. Have you noticed? There's been a lot of talk of people saying that Julia wasn't really injured.
Yeah.
I don't know. But did he? She was injured then.
Right, like that's honestly the way that I see that. Right, if only one person reports it, and that one person is Dave Meltzer, it's the opposite of what is actually reporting.
I didn't realize it was him that said it. Otherwise, I would have just ignored it. No, yeah. I think Stephanie. I think Stephanie retains. I do. What if Jada does win and the other three do go up though?
That's my prediction. I think Jada Parker is going to win, and the other three are going to end up on the main roster just to change things up. There's been a lot of shit talk about the women's division. Bringing up Grace, Julia, and Vaquer right now, I think would really spice things up.
See, I'm into mine now because I'm thinking, I'm like, John's already just got here. She could be the de facto one to be in NXT for a bit.
What was
that's where I'm thinking, Yorkie. That's I do like where your guys' head is at on the fact that the women's roster is a little thin right now. Julia and Stephanie Vicaire on either Raw or SmackDown or both on one side would help a lot, and then let Jordan cook as NXT Women's Champ for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
I would say, I would rather see Julia and Stephanie both go to SmackDown, because obviously with Raw you've got quite a stacked women's division. You know, I don't think it's that stacked.
What
anyway.
if? So now I'm just like throwing shit at the wall. I'm just throwing shit at the wall at this point. Go ahead. You're changing it to what?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Matt and say Jordan.
Let's go.
All right.
It makes more sense. Yeah.
Here's my
Sorry,
insane bold prediction for the weekend. Paige comes back. We get a new absolution, and it is Vicaire, Julia, and Grace. Boom. I'm just going to say it. They're going to go up together, I think, in some shape or form. All right.
Wow.
I don't actually think it's going to happen. But, I got to throw something in. So in the 1% chance that it does happen, I will cut that from this show and repeat it in the intro every single fucking week.
Okay, then.
For the NXT Tag Team Championship, we have Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. Yorkie.
I don't even want to say what I think is going to happen. Because everyone... Don't get me wrong, you're a fun tag team, but they're going to put the belts on Hank and Tank, aren't they?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. My good friend, my good man, Paul Yorke. No, I think what's going to happen is they're closer to a breakup, it feels like, Hank and Tank, than they are...
Did you not watch NXT when they just went through the whole tag division?
Well, I like the episode before, they were, bumping heads and kind of showing a little dissension in the ranks. So they had to win the title shot somehow. But I just think it's their turn to get the title match. Nathan Frazier and Axiom have kind of cleaned out that entire division. And it's just kind of their turn to get this shot. But no, I don't think we're in any danger of Frazier and Axiom losing the titles anytime soon. I would be shocked.
But like I say, it's that time of year, isn't it, when you get the surprise call-ups?
I don't think he's going to be called up yet.
Really? We've already seen both. Hold on. We've already seen Axiom against Gunther on the main roster. We saw Nathan Frazier against Penta the other week on SmackDown.
Phoenix.
Yes. Sorry, the other one.
Yeah, because all Latinos look alike to you, right, Yorkie?
Yeah, I mean, there's Penta, there's Fennec.
They are brothers who wear a mask.
Americano, El Grande.
That's funny. No, I know what you're saying. It wouldn't be like the craziest thing.
I didn't mean to offend. If I did offend,
no. Please. I can speak for all Latinos and say, no, we're not offended. You're good.
Thank you.
That's funny. That's more offensive than what you said. No, just
it probably was. So here's the thing. Right? I still maintain that Frazier and Axiom are going to lose at the most random time against the most random team. It's not going to be in this type of stage. I don't know why. Like, Matt, you remember me saying this. It's going to be like a random team that's going to beat them. And yeah, I still maintain that. I just don't think that it's going to happen just yet. I think that we are going to get another Hardys versus Fraxia match in NXT or TNA with both teams as champs. I think that's more likely to happen still.
But I just want to know that if Hank and Tank win, I want you to edit in and thingy and put it at the beginning of every. There
you go. There you go. All right, gents. The next match is the AEW Dark Championship match, aka the NXT North American Championship match. Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page, the only one-on-one match in the entire card. Matt?
I don't think they're going to take the belt off Ricky yet. Ricky will beat Ethan Page. Ricky Saints to retain, but this is going to be a contender for match of the show for sure. Both of these guys are going to really work hard to show that they belong on this stage, NXT, and B, they belong on the next stage. I think both guys want to be on WrestleMania next year, and there's a really good chance they are. But yeah, Ricky Saints to win for sure.
Ricky Saints, it's his hometown. Of course he's going to want to be on next year's main card.
Absolutely. Great call.
Yorkie?
I agree. I agree with Matt.
Yeah, I agree as well. All right, the next match is a 6-man tag team match. We have the D'Angelo family, Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and Luca Crucifino versus Dark States, Dion Lennox, Cutler James, and Saquon Sugars. Yorkie, who do you think is going to win?
I don't really care.
Right. I feel the same, to be honest.
I thought when Dark State first appeared, and it was like, ooh, what's happening? That was good. And then they just shit all over it. Yeah,
it's the typical, it's what WWE tends to do with these type of groups. Retribution, very Retribution-like. Shield Light.
I do think we're going to see the breakup of the D'Angelo family, though.
I think so, too.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Tension between Channing and D'Angelo.
They've been slow burning that turn for a while, and it does feel like, Channing Stacks Lorenzo is probably going to turn on his family. So, Dark State beat the 3 guys in the main event in a 6-man tag recently. Like they're going to keep winning for a little bit anyway. So Dark State gets a pretty dominant win, and it's possible that this is the place where Channing hits friggin' Tony D with a chair or a side of gabagool or whatever it is. Yes, exactly. The kiss of death, Boris. Oh my God, that's totally gonna happen.
And then Dimes comes back. Dimes and I don't even know. I don't even care about this match whatsoever. Anyway, we're just gonna move on. Triple threat match for the NXT Championship: Oba Femi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. Yorkie.
Oba Femi. I will never ever go against Oba Femi.
Right.
He's my boy.
Matt?
Yeah, it feels too early for Oba Femi to lose it unless he's going up right away. And for some reason, I don't anticipate that happening like this quickly, especially because on the men's side, they have more prospects and more new signings coming in, perhaps Rusev or Black or both right away. So it's a little more log jammed on the men's side. Oba Femi keeps the title. And if anyone's going up, it's Trick Williams, so he's definitely not going to win. There's a chance Javon Evans takes it, but I think Oba Femi will win this match.
Yeah, like it's the little engine that could, right? Javon Evans, right? Like it could shock, but there's no point in taking the belt off Oba Femi unless he gets called up. Trick Williams, I'm telling you, he needs to go to SmackDown ASAP and help his boy ASAP, because seeing Carmelo Hayes with The Miz just hurts me in every orifice humanly possible.
Orifice, jeez.
Every orifice, all the orifices. Or 5.
Fair enough. All right.
All right. So that is NXT Stand and Deliver, because it is WrestleMania weekend and we are going into the Raw after WrestleMania. 1 male, 1 female who gets the call up post NXT Stand and Deliver. Matt, who do you think?
Well, can I give you 2 females? Stephanie and Julia?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go Stephanie and Julia. No men. All the dudes are staying down. Stephanie and Julia are both coming up.
Yorkie?
Roxanne and Trick.
Roxanne and Trick. Okay, yep. I do think Trick Williams is going to get it. And on the female side, I'm going to go with Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. I think that to me, they're ready. They don't need NXT at this point. I think that they are more than ready. And like I mentioned, right, there's just a lot of hoopla about the WWE women's division right now. That they can just add a little something to it. No. So that is NXT Stand and Deliver. We will have a post-show. So tune in here on A+ Productions. We're going to be talking all things NXT Stand and Deliver. All right, gentlemen, let us jump into the main card. WrestleMania Night 1, Saturday, April 19th. Let us start with what is rumored to be the opening match of WrestleMania weekend. Gunther versus Jey Uso. Yorkie, who do you think is going to win?
I think Gunther's going to retain.
Wow!
Why? That's just what you think?
I like Psycho Gunther, and I think he needs the title more than Jey does. Jey, he doesn't. I can't see him as a champion. I'm really sorry. I know he's got the crowd behind him and stuff. I just can't. I can't see him as a world champion. I feel awful saying that because I do like him as a wrestler, but I find Gunther more credible.
Matt?
Gunther is certainly more credible in the ring than Jey Uso. That's not even an argument. I think if they don't give Jey Uso this win and he loses in the opening match of WrestleMania, God bless him, he might as well retire. He might as well instantly rip his contract up and go to AEW. Like he might as well wrestle on Bloodsport for the rest of his career. Like there's no recovery from that. That would be the death knell to his character and possibly the entire Samoan dynasty. Like I agree, everything you said is correct. Gunther does need the title, arguably more, except Jey Uso needs this win so badly that I think there's no possible way he doesn't do it. And Boris, we've been talking about this for a long time. We've been predicting that this would be the opening match of the first night of WrestleMania and that Jey Uso would win the title. And we're so close. We're so close to nailing that prediction. I think it's got to be Jey.
We're going to nail it like a prom date. Jey Uso is going to win the championship at WrestleMania. Matt, you said everything I was going to say. You think about some wrestlers who kept losing the big ones that people just lost interest to. And God bless him, but Bray Wyatt always comes to mind. He lost every major match, and the fans just got sucked out of believing or caring about him. Jey Uso will be cut with... Yeah, for a long time they did. For a long time they did until the Fiend. But there was a very long time that people did not care about Bray Wyatt. It just so happens to be Lex Luger. Go ahead, Matt.
Yes. You just named him. The all-time best example of this is Lex Luger in WCW in the 80s. All the way through his WWE career in the 90s, back to WCW in the 90s until he randomly beat Hulk Hogan on a Nitro episode and then promptly lost the title again. But his entire career, that guy was Lex Luger. He's the all-time best example of that in wrestling. They cannot Lex Luger Jey Uso. He will win the title briefly, even if it's just for a cup of coffee and he loses it Backlash whenever coming up. I think he has to win this match.
Yeah, agreed. All right.
Why does Gunther have to lose at WrestleMania though?
Go ahead, Yorkie. Sorry.
That's it's two WrestleManias in a row that Gunther's lost. He's the only two.
I thought of that as well, but it's WWE. Do people unless you open up the history books, people aren't really going to realize that it's an unfortunate stat, and it could be used for the story. Right? If Gunther next year's WrestleMania, you don't win at WrestleMania, boom. That's some storytelling right there.
The only way I will accept Gunther loses at WrestleMania is if he wins on Raw the next night.
This is going to be a Zack Ryder type situation.
Fucking hope so. I know Jimmy's going to come back and just say, I helped you win. I know Jay's going to win. I know he's going to win. I just want Gunther to win.
World Tag Team Championship, the War Raiders versus the New Day. Yorkie.
I don't know why this match is on the card. Really don't. War Raiders to win.
War Raiders to win. I think the New Day is going to win. I think the heels of a New Day are going to just get a good run with the Tag Team Championship. Here's the thing. This match is going to be good. but I still feel that someone like a Chelsea Green deserved this spot more.
What pisses me off is why this tag team title match is on the main card, and yet the tag division that they've been building on SmackDown.
You got to put something on SmackDown.
But why? The thing is, they've been building that tag. There is more going on with the tag division on SmackDown that has been built over the last couple of months that deserves to be on the main card.
I agree.
I
agree with you.
Whereas on Raw, all it's been is New Day said, "Oh, I want a title shot," and then War Raiders come out and say, "Yeah, all right, we'll give you a title shot." And bosh, it's on the main card. What bullshit's that?
Yeah,
I feel like obviously you want to see DIY. I want to see DIY, Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly, and Los Garza and whoever and the Profits, all in a big smosh of a fight.
Yep. Just remember that this Friday you are going to be getting I think it's one of those things where they needed to put someone on SmackDown, and they're just going to put the SmackDown guys on SmackDown as opposed to WrestleMania. I honestly think that's just literally as stupid of a decision as it was. That's where we're at. I still am not a fan of the fact that we have 2 sets of tag team championships.
I agree. The tag team titles always feel like, separated and superfluous. Like they feel like those titles should always be joined together. There should be one set of tag team champions across both brands, and NXT sometimes too, arguably, although we all love the NXT men's tag team champions and think they're doing a fantastic job. But I agree with you, Boris. I think it's probably going to be the New Day. The New Day have lost too many times with this new character. Like, people want to see more of these new characters, and they want to see them in high profile things. I feel like, I know I certainly do. So yeah, I think they're going to sneak a win out over the War Raiders, and New Day tag team champions.
So, but after they win, who are they going to go against? The War Raiders again? Who else is there?
The War Raiders.
Yeah, maybe. Lucha Bros?
Well, they're on separate brands
for now.
Yeah, that could change. That could change as the wind blows, but that is true. That is a good point.
Yeah. Matt, who do you think is going to win?
New Day over War Raiders.
Boom, there you go. Singles match. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Yorkie, who do you think is going to win?
Rey Mysterio. Sorry, I'm going to proper downer now. I'm fuming about this whole match card. The day one, apart from the main event, I am not looking forward to anything on day one. Because I think they unmasked El Grande Americano, and it turned out not to be Chad Gable.
Oh, that's fun. I like that idea.
I can see that happening. Matt, who do you think? What do you think is going to go down?
They unmask him, and it turns out to be Jason Jordan, and it is one of the craziest twists of all time. I think Chad Gable's got to get a big win here. Rey Mysterio does not need it necessarily. So yeah, I'm going to go with El Grande Americano, best wrestler of all time ever to be named after a coffee.
I agree with you, Matt. And I agree. Like, Rey Mysterio doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to show up, and people are going to cheer for him at this point, right? That's where he's at in his career, and we know that he can still have great matches, as we've seen over the past few weeks on Monday Night Raw. All right, the next match is another singles match that a lot of people aren't giving any respect to, but I do think is one of the better built matches on WrestleMania's entire card. It is a better built match. It is a better built match. You're telling me that this entire Jade Cargill Naomi program, it hasn't been well done. You have the ball. You can tell me face to face right now on camera that it hasn't been well built.
I thought you were talking about a different match.
Jesus fuck.
You pulled a swerve right at the minute. I thought you were talking about the women's title match. I was like, no.
No, I have a whole other opinion on that match.
Yeah, sorry. You said a singles match, and he's like the best built. I was like, please don't.
I also never said a WWE Women's Championship.
I know, you just said a singles match. I was like, really? It's the first one that came to mind. I do apologize. Yeah, I'm going for Naomi to win that.
Yeah.
I hope so. Oh, I hope
Naomi's gonna
so.
win.
God, I hope you guys are right. Naomi is doing such awesome work right now. She's cutting promos that I did not know she had in her. She's really entertaining. One of the best heels that they have, and she's the best kind of heel. She's a heel who kind of has a point. She kind of has a strong argument, which always makes for a better heel. But I think Jade's gonna
division.
Yes, absolutely. She is the Drew McIntyre of the women's division. I'm going to mute. Like I gotta. I hope people can hear that Yorke was the one who said that. But yeah, I think that's a perfect call. Look, Naomi's, like Matt just said, her promos have been great. Her social media game has been excellent as well. I think they can run with this. Again, I think after WrestleMania, we're going to be seeing some not changes, but we're going to be seeing a revamped, for lack of a better term, women's division, and I would love to see Naomi get a title shot at some point closely after WrestleMania, and that means that she's going to have to go over Jade Cargill.
I so agree. I so hope you guys are right, but I fear Jade's going to win in like 3 minutes. She's going to just rafflecopter this hoe. I think that's where we're going, sadly.
All right, then we're going to go to the next match, which is for the WWE Women's Championship. Yorke, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Tell us how you really feel, Yorke.
I want Tiffany to win in 2 minutes. Literally, all I want them to do is do their entrances, thingy, and then quick roll up, 1, 2, 3, done, bugger off, done. Do you remember a while ago people were saying Jay and Gunther's match was like the worst built match for WrestleMania until this Psycho Gunther appeared. This women's match is the worst built match I can't think of a worse women's match build in Mania history.
Alundra Blaze versus Lilani Kai, WrestleMania.
No. I believe that match was built better than that.
Fair enough.
All they needed to do was say
and whatever. What was that match?
That was built better as well.
Snooki Mania. Oh God, that was deep in the recesses of my subconscious.
Snooki versus Vicky Guerrero would have been a better built match than this.
Jesus Christ. Santina Morella winning the Battle Royal?
Oh,
still
no.
Still better, yep.
Santina Morella.
The thing is, right, the whole issue with this whole thing is Charlotte shouldn't have won the Rumble anyway, so that pisses me off.
Matt, what are you
I'm going to shut up before I keep... you're going to end up going bleep, 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 bleep.
No, I don't care. We're only a podcast for now. Matt?
I think that they had a chance to make it more special than it was. That promo that kind of got out of hand could have been a positive, and they just kind of ignored it, which does make this feel like more of a negative thing than it is. Listen, I think it should still be a really good match. I think it's on Tiffany Stratton to show up and show she belongs. This could be a disaster because it really seems like there is some legitimate bad blood between these two performers. But I think that come showtime, it's pretty important for both of them, significantly more so for Tiffany, but it's still an important match for Charlotte Flair to kind of remind people who the fuck she is. So yeah, I think Tiffany will win. It's a bad idea to take it off her now. It would be a huge feather in her cap to beat Charlotte, and I am cautiously optimistic for how the match will turn out.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. Everything you said is correct. I think Tiffany will win, and both women have a lot to prove. All right, we are going to the next match for the WWE United States Championship. LA Knight, your champion, versus future WWE WrestleMania main eventer and superface Jacob Fatu. Matt?
Oh, I like you. Future Roman Reigns WrestleMania opponent Jacob Fatu. Could it be? One of the two matches between Jade Cargill and Naomi and this one is going to be a super squash, like 3 minutes of absolute destruction. I said that it's going to be Jade and Naomi, so I'm not picking this one. I think they will have a more competitive match, but Jacob Fatu is like a minus 5,000 favorite. Like, he is going to win this match. He is the clearest favorite on the card, as it should be. Jacob Fatu to win pretty decisively over poor LA Knight.
Yorkie, thoughts?
I agree.
There you go.
I agree.
Yeah. Look, Jacob Fatu, I was saying this in another WrestleMania preview, where it's getting to the point, if you listen to the crowd on SmackDown, all they do is cheer the guy. They're loving him more and more. They're at the point now where it's kind of like, Rock 98, where they're going to have to turn him. One of two things are going to happen with Jacob Fatu. They're going to either have to turn him face or make him do something absolutely heinous to keep him as a heel.
Interesting.
Shall I tell you what I think about Jacob Fatu?
Yes.
I think he is a more credible person to be world champion than Jey Uso. The way he's presented, I know it's sorry to go back onto that, but that's how I feel.
Jesus Christ.
I see what you're saying. That's an interesting point. You're probably right in terms of how they're treated in the ring, but that's why Jey Uso so badly needs to win his match. But yes, very interesting. I do agree. And I think, sadly, what we're going to get before we get Jay versus Jacob or Roman versus Jacob, we're going to get Solo versus Jacob. And a babyface Jacob Fatu with the U.S. title is going to have to go through the bloodline, starting with Solo Sikoa.
Starting with Hikuleo. I think what's going to happen is Jacob Fatu is going to win this match. Then he's going to get the Randy Orton Evolution treatment, courtesy of Hikuleo, and he's going to be kicked out of whatever they want to call themselves at this point.
This is a deep cut.
Bloodline Wolfpack.
Yes, yeah. The Bloodline Wolfpack. This is a deep cut. But you remember, like, Family Guy season 1 or 2, Hickadula? Every time I hear Hikuleo, I think of the Quagmire Chris song, Hickadula.
Yeah. Oh, my God. But he's there. He's signed. He's waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
He's been waiting for a while.
His wrestling skills have been waiting for a while too. Like, I think that's let's be honest. That's probably
hold on. If he's and yet Tongaloa hasn't.
Well, that's the thing. Tongaloa is just hopeless. He's just really bad. Hikuleo has had moments at least.
All right, we are going to go to the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, a triple threat match, a win the affection of Paul Heyman match, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman in his corner to start the night versus Seth Rollins. Matt, what do you think is going to happen?
I think this is going to be the best match on either night, the best match of the weekend. Arguably, possibly, potentially the best match in any promotion all week, all year. This is going to be really good. CM Punk is going to bleed buckets. The match is going to end with Roman Reigns incapacitated somehow. CM Punk will sacrifice himself for Paul Heyman, and Seth Rollins gets a huge win, pinning CM Punk to win this triple threat match because CM Punk saved Paul Heyman somehow. Seth Rollins, big W, book it, write it down, send it to him.
I agree wholeheartedly with you on everything that you just said, and shut up, Yorkie. And I think it's going to be one of those things. And I think it's going to be one of those weird things. We're going to do a weird Shield callback where Roman has the win, but he's going to choose to hit Seth Rollins with a chair. Yorkie, thoughts?
I can speak. Right? I didn't want to say nothing. I'm going to say what majority of the wrestling IWC are probably thinking. Heyman's going to turn and join with Seth. However, that's going to be like the big angle of the match. But I do think, I'm hoping, it's because it's me. I want Punk to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to co-sign with Matt. I think Seth is going to win this one, and this match is going to be great.
I do think Seth's going to win, but I want Punk to win.
Yeah. All right. WrestleMania Night 2, another 7 matches of insanity. Let's just start with Randy Orton versus X. Who is Randy Orton going to face? We already talked about this earlier. I think both.
Akira Tozawa.
Let's go.
I reckon. Do you know what? I reckon they put a good match on. You know.
Oh, they absolutely would. Absolutely would. Drake Maverick, his return. Here we go.
Oh, I'm liking where our heads are at. Okay, so yeah, on the list, Joe Hendry is possible. Alexander Rusev and or Aleister Black are possible. Honestly, low on the list. He's like a plus 2,000 bet, but you could see a world where El Generico is perhaps the man, or Sami Zayn. It could be Sami Zayn. But I'm going to say it's Aleister Black, and I'm going to say Aleister Black kicks his head into the fourth row. Kicks his head somewhere into Reno, Nevada.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking as well. It's gay. Look, this is the first time that I'm not hearing Nick Aldis' name come up. I've heard so many of these preview shows. A lot of people really think it'll be Nick Aldis, but here's why. I do not think it'll be Nick Aldis. I think that Nick Aldis is big enough of a deal that they're going to want to do more of a setup for him.
You never know; it could happen on SmackDown.
We just never know, right? Like, yes, I know Nick Aldis isn't a household name, but I think that for him to come out of retirement, it would need to be a bigger deal than a random mystery opponent match. That's just my feeling. Again, Yorkie, we could be proven completely wrong in 24 hours on SmackDown. All right, we're going to move on to the rest of the card now. It is a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky, Kevin Nash's favorite wrestler, versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Yorkie, I know you have a lot to say about this match. I can feel it. I can sense it. Who do you think is going to win?
Io Sky. She needs it more. It pisses me off to hear that Kevin Nash is still saying shit like what he has been saying online.
Yeah, don't worry. He blew his quad just telling us that, right? Like,
yeah, he did. No, it's irresponsible of him to be saying that, to be fair, because it just shows that he doesn't watch the product. For him to say that her striking is not believable, say that she's too short in stature, that she's not a good wrestler, is fucking ridiculous. Because I think the majority of the IWC know, or anyone who's a wrestling fan knows, that she is technically one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet, regardless of company.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a dickhead like that to be saying, she's small, she's too small. Well, all he's bothered about is making money on being a big guy. All he does is fucking elbow in the corner, tear
But this is what I mean, Yorkie. This is another case of these old school people, or wrestling fans in general, just thinking with this weird old school mentality. And the only people who subscribed to this was WWE being hypnotized, for lack of a better word, by Vince McMahon. That only big people can be in WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least Kevin Nash is consistent. He's been saying vanilla midgets and things like that since he was an active wrestler. But like, if they only pushed big, huge people who suck in the ring, well, then you would have 1995 when Kevin Nash was on top and fucking WWE almost folded because it was the worst time for business in that company's entire history. So you do need actual talented, smaller wrestlers to fucking carry the load.
In Your House 1 ended with an elbow drop. An elbow drop ended a pay-per-view. Go ahead, Matt.
Yes. Outrageous, absolutely outrageous. But yeah, so this will be the match. This should be an awesome match in the ring. You said that Io needs it the most, and you might be right, but I kind of think Bianca needs it the most.
No, she doesn't.
I don't know about this one though. This one is up in the air to me. I'm gonna actually go off script here, and I'm gonna say Bianca wins it.
I'll be pissed off if Rhea Ripley wins, to be honest. You know my thoughts on this whole match and situation.
Yeah, but I just don't get why you would. If Bianca was going to win, then there was no need to involve Io. Because I know a lot of people wanted Bianca versus Rhea. Just playing Bianca Rhea. And if that was the case, that's when Bianca wins. Because then you can have the match, Bianca wins. Whee! Why would you take the belt off Rhea the day after Elimination Chamber, put it on Io, if she's not going to have a long run with it?
Yep. Agreed. This match, I think Io Sky is going to win, but it's one of those matches where you just don't know who's going to win at all. We are going to move to the next match, and it is for the WWE Intercontinental Championship match. Maybe one of the only times, not maybe one of the only times, but one of the few matches of this weekend where literally there is no wrong choice. Braun Breaker, your IC champ, versus Penta, versus Finn Balor, versus Dominic Mysterio. Matt, who do you think is going to win?
I think it's Penta's time to win this title. I think this is just like the Stephanie Vaquer match in that they want to get the title off Braun Breaker without having him lose. So Penta pins, I'm going to say Finn Balor.
I'm going to say Finn Balor gets pinned by Dominic Mysterio. Dominic is winning the IC championship to further this whole Judgment Day falling apart.
I agree with Boris. I think Dominic's going to pin Finn.
Oh, that's way better than my idea. All right, go try that idea.
There we go. All right, the next match is for the tag team championship on the women's side. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Matt, you and I had already talked about this. We hinted at this because of the NXT match. We think that Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez are going to win to set up a match with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria as the tag team champions. Matt, is that your call still?
Absolutely, still going with that. Give Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, throw them a bone for their hard work. Bayley loses way too much. She loses to everyone. It barely means anything to beat Bayley anymore. Kind of like when Evan Bourne was beating Chris Jericho, and it was like, actually that one did kind of matter. But since then, beating Jericho has become like everyone beats Jericho. Jericho gets beaten like a fucking drum, so it doesn't mean anything anymore. And we're flirting with that territory for Bayley. So big win, WrestleMania, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, new women's tag champs.
Yorkie?
I said I was going to say something, and this is where I think we have a difference of opinion, because I think we are going to see a Bayley heel turn.
They've been hinting at it.
I think Liv and Raquel retain. I think Liv pins Lyra. Bayley gets pissed off, starts beating the crap out of Lyra. Becky makes a comeback. Becky Lynch to save her homegirl Lyra, and then obviously not at Mania, but I think Cora and Roxanne will join up with Bayley to make the new Damage Control type little faction.
Oh, very intriguing, Yorkie. I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea.
I like that a lot. I do think Becky is going to show up at some point this weekend. The reason why I say that is because she's been dismissing and kind of making jokes about not being around wrestling anymore. She's the type of person that has that like very nonchalant attitude. She went all this time without talking about wrestling, and now she's actively saying that she's not around anymore. So,
yeah,
I mean, she's around.
Plus, I don't think they're going to give Lyra 2 belts.
Interesting.
Yes.
Maybe not. You might be right. I like it. Yeah, it's a little sus on Becky's part, unless she just runs into the main event of night one and just beats the fuck out of CM Punk, which is possible.
or yeah, who knows? All right, we are going to.
He lays out the big dog.
We're going to move on. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Yorkie.
AJ.
Yeah, fart noise indeed.
I never thought I'd do a match I'm not interested in. Look, I'm wearing a fucking AJ Styles t-shirt. I love AJ Styles. I don't care about this match.
Matt.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, Yorkie. Logan Paul has go away heat with me, just like Pat McAfee at this point. Like, I don't even like watching Raw because I don't want to hear or support Pat McAfee in any way. It's kind of the same with Logan Paul. Like, he's a very good performer in the ring. That's an inarguable fact. But I just don't care to see him. I've seen it. He's doing like his poor man's Will Ospreay gimmick, and like he has pretty good matches. I'm sure this will be a pretty good match, but this might be where I go make some nachos and take a shit. Like, I just don't care to see his shtick. And while it's nice to see AJ Styles again at WrestleMania, yeah, I'm with you. AJ's gonna lose probably. Logan Paul probably win this, I suppose. But yeah, I don't care. I'm done with Logan Paul. Don't care to see it. Don't give a fuck what he does or says or thinks.
All right, tell us how you really feel. I mostly agree with you. We're gonna move on to a Sin City street fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Matt?
Yeah, I patched Drew. That was a fun gimmick while it lasted. Salty pirate Drew McIntyre, eat shit, Paul Burchill. You know what I'm saying? But I do like this match on paper. I think this is going to be a contender to steal the show, especially on night 2. This could be the best match on night 2. I'm sure both these guys are going to work really hard and produce something very memorable. This is one where I think Drew McIntyre needs this W. Give it to Drew. Please let Drew win. Go Drew Mac. My heart and my head are picking Drew Mac.
Yeah, agreed. I think Drew McIntyre deserves this. I think he gets the shit end of the stick too often, and I believe similar to Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre absolutely needs to win this match. He loses way too often.
I agree too. I think Drew wins.
All right. This sets us up for the undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Yorkie, thoughts?
It was all right to build. Do you know what? When the turn happened, I was like, "Ooh, I'm actually interested in the match now." And then, obviously, he didn't. Like the Rock's not showing up at all to explain anything what's going on.
Yeah.
And then John Cena's only turned up during the European dates, and then the last 2 weeks they've been back over here in the US, and
Cena's going to be there tomorrow on SmackDown.
But still,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm not buying it. Rhodes is going to retain.
Rhodes is going to retain. Matt.
Yeah, they're not going to let him get his 17th.
Interesting. I think with Ric Flair kind of being on the outs, but they have been slowly mentioning him a little more, Mr. Flair. I do feel like Cena's going to break his record, and no better time than here. It'll be the rare heel win at WrestleMania. Cody's had the title for a long time, and he could definitely win it back from Cena, or somebody else could be the one to get that. This is not set in stone, though. It's a very... It could go either way, very vice-versa, as they say back in Sudbury, kind of match. Like, I could totally see Cody winning. I could totally see Cena winning. I'm going to pick Cena, and I'm way higher on the build of this match than everyone else appears to be. I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm just an optimistic wrestling fan nowadays. I guess that's, but yeah, I've really liked the build to this match. John Cena fucking turned heel. He's cutting awesome promos when he does. But you're right. The Rock hasn't shown up to kind of explain his part in this at all.
More importantly, Travis Scott either. He hasn't shown up.
Travis. It would be funny if Travis Scott ran in and Cody beat the shit out of him. That would be satisfying as a viewer. I'm sure, yeah, lots of people would enjoy that. But yeah, no, I think Cena is going to take it.
Are we going to get the whole traditional end of the match shenanigan type things at this year, or is it going to be a clean finish?
Look, The Rock is scheduled to be in Vegas. He's scheduled to show up. I think we're going to get shenanigans to end WrestleMania.
I agree.
Could be WrestleMania 17 levels of shenanigans.
Not WrestleMania 40 levels of shenanigans.
That was overbooked. But Cody finished the story. Everyone was happy. Everyone was crying. I think we're going to get Empire Strikes Back type of ending here, where people are going to be pretty pissed off and angry. As pissed off as WrestleMania 39? Maybe. We'll see.
Who are you? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I think John Cena's going to win.
Wait and see.
Something to. He's booked for Raw. He's booked for Backlash. His schedule, all signs point to him winning on Sunday night.
Don't get me wrong. I've got no issue with him getting his 17th title.
Yeah.
I just don't think it'll be at Mania.
All right, gentlemen, that is it. That is our WrestleMania preview. Thank you to everyone for listening once again. Be part of the conversation over on Facebook. All you need to do is go to facebook.com and search for A Plus Productions, and we're going to have threads for all the show. In fact, all the threads are already set up, and they're going to be showing up throughout the weekend. There's already a general thread for any non-WWE show that you're interested in watching, from Bloodsport to GCW to Effie's show to Joey Janela's show. It's all there. You can watch. You can join the conversation there, facebook.com, and search for A Plus Productions. Best place to find all the information for A Plus Productions is by going to aplusproductions.com, and you'll be able to find all of the information on the various feeds, at least the way that they live today. Matt, any final words before we call it a night?
Yeah, death, taxes, and me being shocked about how fucking salty wrestling fans are. I'm excited for this weekend. I think it's been built fine. It's not WrestleMania 3 for sure. It's not even as good as the last 2 years, but it beats the brakes off of fucking WrestleMania 11 or 12 or even 13, except for Brett and friggin' Austin, because right after WrestleMania 13 is when the Attitude Era started kicking in. But that 97 before the Brett and Austin match was kind of still a little bit of the dark ages. They were starting to get there, but yeah, there's been far worse WrestleManias than this one. On paper, it's not the best card, but it's not the worst. And I do think these guys are just so talented, going to work so hard. I'm excited for WrestleMania. It will be a good show. Everybody, as Boris might say, stay tranquilo.
Yorkie, any final words?
Nope.
Sick.
Entertainment at its finest, my friends. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. We are going to be coming at you throughout the weekend with reviews of Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2. So look for those shows here on the A Plus Wrestling feed. On behalf of the entire A Plus Productions crew, including Paul and Matt, thank you so much for listening. But most importantly, stay tranquilo